Welcome back to another episode of Transformers Forged to Fight. For today's agenda, we are going to be starting Act 4, Chapter 4. And then next episode, we are going to finish Chapter 4. And then after that is going to be the finale video. And that will wrap up this revisiting series. Now, with the time limit that I have left, and it's not a whole lot of time, today is May 5th at the time of recording this episode. So technically I have 2 more days to get a few other videos finished for this game, whatever else I have left. And I don't think I really have much left anymore because I already finished most of the character showcases that I could record. I actually did squeeze in one more video this morning, and that was recording the character showcase for Starscream. And at the moment, with the characters we have left, it is Ultra Magnus, Prowl, Kickback, Ramjet, Mirage, Rhinox, Scorponok, Grimlock, and Optimus Primal. And that is still a good amount of characters right there. That is a total of 7, 8, 9 characters left. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit in more videos for the remaining 9 characters, which is unfortunate. But this is what happens when I go on a break for too long, and then when I come back, and then the game is like, yeah, we're shutting down, and you only have 3 weeks left to do what you need to do. So, it is quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. At least I was able to record a good amount of showcase videos before the servers go offline. And with the episodes, we technically have 2 more after today's episode, and that will pretty much be it. So that is basically where the timeline of these videos are basically at right now. And by the time you see this episode, it will probably be June or July. I don't exactly know when this is going up, so it's going to be well after the game shuts down. So that is basically what's happening. And now let's just get into the missions, because that is what we're here for. So let me just send these guys on their very way, because we do need ISOs. And let's start the first mission of Chapter 4. And I'm going to bring in my characters. Let's see. We need Megatronus. We need him. We need Bumblebee. We also need Cyclonus. And then I guess we could do Grimlock. Yeah, let's do Grimlock. Let's see if this works. Now let's read the first dialogue. Teletran is reporting a new abnormality. There we go. That's how you pronounce that word. In Decepticon activity. I'm requesting all primes and the commander on deck for this one. What seems to be the quandary. I think that's how you say that word. Everything within range of scans is swapping signals. First a desertion of Decepticons, then a flood of them, like a heartbeat of activity. Can you propose a location for us to rally? Tip ahead, there's one specific signal that is reading Autobot, with a background radiation of Decepticon circuitry. A Decepticon in disguise seems like a place to start. Oh, that's a reference to, Jetfire, because Jetfire was a former Decepticon, and then he became an Autobot. Okay, we do have that whole thing with the backstory. Are we going this way? I'm assuming we're going to go this way. Let's read the local mod. There is not much for the local mod on this end. Okay, and then what about this side? Maybe there's a mod here. Nope, it seems like it's just your standard mods that are not too difficult. Alright, we're going to go this side, right? With Dirge? Yeah. Alright, we're going to start on this lane. Let's bring in Grimlock and see how this fight goes, because you know how it always is when I play this game and I talk. It never goes well. Maybe. Okay, yeah, no, I was right. It never goes well. But the good thing is, Grimlock has the purifying thing, which kind of negates most of his, fear effects, which is great. Okay, can you use your SP2? Yes? Yes, you can. Thank you. I'm going to use my SP2 so we can land some good damage. but that's still not enough to KO you. Come on. Take some hits. Okay, we got him to his SP2 again. We're going to need him to use his SP2 once more. Dodge that. There we go. Let's use a heavy attack so we can land some incineration. Oh no. Oh no! Dirge, I cornered myself. I cornered myself. Sometimes it's kind of tricky to like try to get out of the corner. I have that kind of problem when I play this game. So, but I think we should still be good. Yes, we are. Okay, that was, not the best run right there, but I mean, that's still better than getting KO'd and then having to come back in with another character, so not too bad, I suppose. Alright, dead end here. Let's just feed him more heavy attacks. Give him more dark burns. I don't want him to use his SP2, but I might have to. Can he use his SP1, please? Yes, he can. Thank you. Okay. Let's see if I can end it with the SP2. Oh, it landed a stun on him. Yeah, that's not too bad actually. Okay, there we go. With a little bit of lag in there as well. Alrighty, that was not too bad. Okay, dead end is gone now. Which way are we going? Oh, we're going this way. We're not going the lane that is the easy lane. Technically, it's not a difficult lane, no matter which side I go. It's just the combat power for the characters. They're different, right? They have higher stats and stuff. But so far, it hasn't been too difficult. Where it's like not, what's that word called? Undoable. Because even when I think I screw up somehow, we still pull it off and actually clear the lane. So I'm not like too worried here. And also, I think he's just gonna come on. Yeah, the bleed effect KO'd him. There we go. I didn't have to do anything for that part. Alright, the next character is going to be a Sharkticon for the Night class. And we're going to be using our Demolition for this. So it shouldn't be too bad. There we go. Now, in terms of topics that I want to talk about for today's episode, what do I want to talk about? Because, last episode we were so focused on talking about gargoyles and NECA toys when it comes to that gargoyles line. So for today, what is relevant to speak about at the time of recording this episode? Oh, here we go. The pre-orders that went up today for DC Multiverse, and also some news that dropped as well. So let's start with the pre-order stuff, because that's just more simpler to get out of the way. So, for the pre-orders for May 5th, at the time of recording this episode, the Solomon Grundy versus Green Lantern Alan Scott 2-pack went up for pre-order. And I want to start with this item first, because this one is quite, one of those 2-packs where I would not recommend paying full price for it unless you really need it that badly right away. That's why you're pre-ordering it, so that you can get it early. Once it ships, then, you do you, right? I don't, what's the way that I want to phrase this? You do you spend your money however you want to spend your money. There we go. In the end of the day, I cannot tell you what to do, but I recommend that you wait for a sale, because it's better to save money than spend, that absorbent amount of money on something that's not worth that price. So, the 2-pack in question here retails for $80, $79.99. I feel like this price is really egregious for this 2-pack, because Now, I'm not going to justify the price increase with the previous 2 packs that include Megafigs, but for this one, I feel like it is somewhat egregious. No, actually, it is egregious. It's like an overreach, because the Solomon Grundy figure is not classified as a Megafig. It's not even as big as some of the Megafigs that we have gotten in this line. He is shorter than some of those Megafigures in terms of his scale. And that's not great, because they could have easily given us a new Solomon Grundy. But they didn't want to, because it's easier to reuse the same body buck that they made from the BAF version and just retool just a few things, repaint a few things, and then just call it. Which, in my opinion, I get it. You want to save costs. That's just something that's been happening lately. And it is what it is. Every company does this. They like to reuse things, reuse molds and parts and stuff. But for this comic version of Solomon Grundy, which we have never had in this line, and this is like the first time we're getting one, they could have treated this differently, you know? Now, I have done a review on the Arkham City, right? Yeah, Arkham City version of the Solomon Grundy, because that's what that BAF is based on. It's from the Arkham City video game. And I've said what I had to say about that figure. I felt like it was rushed. I felt like they just didn't put in enough time. They could have used better plastics for the figure. Instead, it is this cheap, hollow, like, sort of feeling with the plastic, where it just doesn't have the same amount of detail and attention that has been put into other figures that they have released. And that is one thing I don't like about this particular reuse. Now, before I continue that thought, let's read this dialogue. That's far enough, Decepticons. Posing as primes. Have you no shame? Jetfire, is that you? Your arrival is a welcome sight. If you just allow us to explain the situation here, calculate carefully before you speak next, imposters. Honestly, an ape pretending to be a prime? If I wasn't sympathetic to your confusion, I may begin to take offense. I have been studying this world since my arrival. Duplicates, dark energon pockets, and timelines overlapping or rewritten. From my observations, I can only assume you represent a threat, and I must take... what's that word? Preventative... Oh, me and my pronunciations today. Preventative measures. What can we do to prove we are Autobots through and through? I believe in what my optics report and my sensors measure. When you and your human can fight like primes, I will start trusting you. Oh, of course, we have to use our freaking fist to deal with this one. Alright, let's see if Bumblebee can deal with this. I don't like fighting Jetfire, mainly because he has that reflect thing with his shield, or his block thing. And then he also has the parry thing that he does if you hit him. And also, he's annoying with the range. Yep, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. Stop it. Stop it, Jetfire. Stop being annoying. Okay, going back to the thought that I had. So, yeah, since it's like 100% reuse, except for like a new head sculpt and then the sculpt tie and then the paint differences, it's not an improvement, okay? It still suffers from the same problems that I dislike about the BAF version of Solomon Grundy. And don't get me wrong, when it comes to the sculpt, yeah, it's not a bad looking sculpt, right? Okay, we are getting destroyed by this guy. Okay. Why are you so annoying? I don't like fighting Jetfire. I've always hated Jetfire in terms of like a defender, because I don't know how to read his freaking what do you call it? His stupid parry thing that he does with his shield when he blocks. That's how bad I am, like, fighting this guy. There we go. I have to run in and attack him when he's, like, using his range attacks. Oh my goodness, stop it. You know what? I'll continue my thought after we beat this boss, because he is not being friendly right now. Can we just, like... We are getting pummeled by this Jetfire. That's not good. That's actually really bad. Use your SP2, please. There we go. I should be able to finish this off. There we go. There we go. Get out of here, Jetfire. Okay. That was that. That could have gone really bad. Okay, so there we go. We cleared the first mission and we got some more ISOs. Let's move on to mission number 2. Let's read this dialogue. I've searched this area to track the pulse of Decepticon energy. I returned with a few contradictory findings. In what way? I've seen Autobots turn on each other, human lead teams filled by Decepticon and Autobots alike, a path to a war that I wish to never see. Oh, that is actually like referencing the Shattered Lens, or the Shattered, whatever it was called. If you guys remember how during the Kabam era, we got all these like spotlight missions during those periods where we didn't get new characters, they had like the whole Shattered something where you had like Decepticon characters, but they were actually like the good guys, and then the Autobots were the villains. I think that's what they're referencing here, which is interesting. It can be a strange world, but many of us remain as you remember. There is one whom I remember. Their signals nearby. I have hopes that this world changed them for the better. Oh, I see the boss ahead. I know who he's talking about. Starscream. Hope is a luxury we are not often afforded. Are my optics faulty? Have the fates brought me closure and delivered Skyfire to me? My designation is Jetfire. Chaos and misfortune brought me here, Starscream, but perhaps we may serve a purpose. Now, something that is very timely about this. I love how the story does revolve around these characters. I like the fact that I did record a showcase for Starscream this morning, and then we are actually having some dialogue stuff with Starscream, and also his connection to Jetfire, because Jetfire's name used to be Skyfire, so there is that whole little lore bit right there. Okay, which way are we going to be going here? I'm assuming it's going to be this way, right? Let's take a look at the mod. Oh, there's not much of a mod going on there, so yeah, this is the direction that we're gonna go, right here. Alright, let's do that. So yeah, going back to what I was saying with Solomon Grundy, outside of the tiny little retools and all that stuff, right, it's the same exact figure with the same problems, where the cheap hollowness of it really does make the overall figure feel very rushed, and it doesn't feel good. Even though it is sculpted nicely, I just can't defend the fact that they're reusing what could have been an improvement here, right? They could have actually sculpted brand new parts for Solomon Grundy, or make a new mold, which, of course, that's not going to happen right now, because, it's the last year of this line, and I'm not surprised that they're just reusing a lot lately, because a lot of these 2-packs as of recent have just been heavy reuses. And I am getting destroyed by Mirage, which is not pleasant. Okay, back away from that. Let's do a SP1 hit right there. Let's do another one. There we go. So, that is one thing that has deterred me from this 2-pack, because for the price that it's at, you're not getting anything new, unless you don't have Solomon Grundy because you skipped on that Arkham City build wave. But at the same time, it's not going to sell out. I don't think it will, because I think most people have realized this is just getting stupid. The higher the cost goes up for these things, it's not worth paying for, because they're not worth $80. Now, for Alan Scott, I think it's pretty cool that they repainted his fire sword thing that the dreaded version of him comes with in a green energy construct thing. And he has a new sort of energy effect for his, lantern arm, which is now on the left arm. So it's this sort of thing you can equip to him to make it look like he's punching somebody with the energy of his ring, which I think is cool as an effect piece. He does have his lantern, of course, so you can have him hold it with the other hand, so then you can show that he is literally charging his power ring if he needs to. But he does not have a wired cloth cape, which is a big problem, because with a lot of the recent figures, they have been pretty much like kind of just going back and forth between cloth wire capes and cloth capes, to correct myself. And it's not good because this is one thing I really hate. So when they introduced the cloth capes initially, right? We had a period where we had the cloth capes, and then eventually they transitioned into the wired cloth capes because they realized that people prefer cloth wire capes for posing and all that stuff. But now you're having this mix of like, okay, which figures can get cloth wire capes and which ones cannot get cloth wire capes. And it's really frustrating because you're spending how much money on these figures, right? And this is what you're getting now. Now, of course, if you are someone that can customize your action figures, you can definitely modify the cloth cape to a cloth wire cape. It's not that difficult to do, but you still need to go out of your way to do it, which is not good. When the company themselves that make these action figures have already done cloth wire capes before, and now they're just deciding to backtrack, where they're like, okay, this guy will not get it. He will just get a regular cloth cape so we can save on the budget. And yeah, that's my gripe that I have right now, because Martian Manhunter, the Page Puncher one that recently came out, has the same issue, right? They could have given him a cloth wire cape because the original version of that figure did not have one. It had a plastic, soft PVC cape, and this upgrade could have been great if he had a wired inside the cloth cape. But instead, they're like, nope, we're going to give him just a regular cloth cape that doesn't do anything, that can't pose, it's just there. So, overall, my opinion on this 2-pack is that it is not entirely worth the costs in terms of being at an $80 price point for a 2-pack. It is really overreaching because you're not paying for a mega fig. You're not paying for something that is classified as a mega fig, and even if it was a mega fig, I still wouldn't recommend spending $80 on a 2-pack because it's way too much money. And looking at the set, it is not worth the cost, and it's not, worth the investment. No matter how badly you need a Solomon Grundy, I don't think it's going to sell out. I think you'll have your chances in the future when it gets heavily discounted, and that is where you can spend your money then. But if you truly need it now, then by all means, pre-order it. I mean, it is your money. It is your decision in the end of the day. You do whatever you want to do, right? There's that saying, we vote with our wallets. So if you feel like spending the $80 because it doesn't hurt you financially, you're fine with it, then do so. But for me, I am not going to buy this 2-pack until it gets discounted to like, I don't know, $40, $30, right? If it can go any lower. But $80, you can do so much with that money. You don't have to buy a 2-pack. You could use it for other things. So that is the whole thing with the pre-order today with this item. Now, for the other item that went up for pre-order, it is the Bat Missile. And that thing looks really cool. Now, it is expensive. It's $100 because it is a vehicle and it can fit a Batman figure inside it. But it gives me so much nostalgia just seeing it, because I remember watching Batman Returns. It was from Batman Returns. I'm trying to correct myself right now. And how his car just goes into the Bat Missile form is just really freaking cool. Like, I love the whole gimmicky thing with it. And seeing the fact that they actually made the Bat Missile now is just fun. Because if you do have all the other Batman Returns stuff that they came out with in recent time, which was a few months ago. No, it was back in October. Yeah, October of last year when that wave dropped. This Bat Missile thing is something you need for your collection, just to fill in every Batman Returns sort of thing that they have. So I do like the fact that they finally did this, and it doesn't look bad, but again, it's not cheap. It is expensive, and for a $100 vehicle, I still think they could have included a Batman figure, right, instead of just having it without a figure. But yeah, nice to see another Batman Returns item. I don't know what else is left for the Batman Returns movie that they can make into either vehicle or figure. I think they've done everything they had to for that movie. So yeah. But there is a listing that I did see recently for the next batch of like McFarlane products. There is a lot of Batman stuff that's coming. Like I'm not kidding with you. Like if these listings are true, which usually they are pretty accurate, they just don't like pinpoint when these things are going to drop. There's a lot of Batman stuff. So even though it's the final year, he's still not done with Batman. Like he's just literally milking Batman nonstop. I think there's like some Batman 66 in there as well with Adam West Batman. There's also other comic book Batman designs. I don't know. It's like a mixture of a lot of things. But there's only two things in that listing that I actually care for. And that is re-releasing the Arkham Knight Batman and the Arkham Origins Deathstroke. I did not get the Deathstroke figure when it came out because I think it's sold out and I just never had a chance to back in the day because that was during I think it was 2020. So a lot of things were just selling out because of COVID and just less stock and less, ways of getting the items, right? Because of how fast the demands are. But yeah, I'm so glad they're re-releasing these two figures because the Arkham Knight Batman, still one of the best Batman figures that they made. It's not perfect, but for McFarlane, it is good enough for what it is, right? If you don't like the McFarlane one and you want one that's better, I think InArt and also LPZZ are probably going to make their version of it, or they already did. I don't remember if they did or not, but those are more high-end, right? Those are more expensive. So if you want the more expensive ones, you got those other options out there. But for McFarlane, the only change I can see them do, which I don't think they will, but who knows, for the Arkham Knight Batman, change his plastic cape to a cloth hard cape, hopefully. Something like that. And then for Deathstroke, if he does come with the same accessories, I do hope they give him guns. Because he didn't have any. Or he did. He had a sculpted gun that was on his holster, but it was not removable. So yeah, hopefully they do kind of tweak some stuff around with the reissues for those two. But yeah, that's pretty much what I saw on that listing. And let me read the dialogue now so we don't ramble too far. This is who you were seeking out, Jetfire? On Cybertron, he and I were paired as scouts. He would be an ideal candidate as we scan for the source of Decepticon abnormalities. Yes, before he betrayed the Autobots, we all know he was once actually... Well, I don't know if Starscream was once an Autobot, but he was not a Decepticon. That's all I remember. Feeling homesick. I'm not in a nostalgic mood. It's for a greater good. Since when is being good so great? Well, I mean... I don't know, actually. Isn't always being good a good thing? I don't know. Maybe he's been too corrupted to the point that he's forgotten what being good feels like. I've detected a thing or two, but I don't share secrets with weaklings. You'll have to prove yourself worthy of my assistance. It would be hypocritical of me to deny a challenge, so I recently requested. Know that I take no pleasure in this, Starscream. Don't worry, I'll take plenty for both of us. Okay, so... I'm trying to reason with the Starscream, which is not going to end well for him because we're going to use this guy. I didn't even read what mod he has, but it doesn't matter. If I get wrecked by him, then it is what it is. Oh, he has the, is it the cycling thing where it changes to melee resist and then range resist? Yes, it is! I remember this one. Okay, that's not too bad. Alright, we're just gonna have to just do what we gotta do. Okay, so this resists special damage, which that's fine. We can just use our melee attack on him. Dodges SP1. Now use this, and then KO, and then he's done. Get out of here, Starscream. You lost. Well, you weren't a difficult boss to fight anyways. Alrighty, more ISOs. Cool. Let's move on to the last mission for today. Starscream, what is waiting for us up ahead? suffering, punishment, and ultimately defeat. You may wish to adjust your tone, or we shall make adjustments for you. Old habit, my new and fearless leader. The Decepticons are gathering fresh forces and bringing over those who are known to follow orders. I was told some Autobot scrap heaps were headed out or over here for a fight. I'm trying to read this correctly. Bumblebee, what is your malfunction? He's not Bumblebee Prime, he is part of the Decepticon plan. Oh, I did not realize he was part of the Decepticon plan. Okay, well, there we go. What mod is this? Landing 5 critical hits grants the next critical hit an additional... Why does that sound like I'm going to get destroyed? Well, you know what? It's all good. We're going to find out. We're going to take this lane. So, yeah, it's pretty much everything for the pre-order that I want to talk about. So, my gripes with that 2-pack being way too overpriced. The Bat Missile does look cool, but I don't have the Batman Returns wave, so I have no purpose of buying that at the moment, and I don't think I'll ever buy it, mainly because if I don't get the wave, because it was very hard to actually find copies of those figures in the stores, and I did not pre-order them when that happened, I am just going to pass on this. But if you have been looking forward to the Bat Missile as a vehicle sort of thing in the McFarlane DC Multiverse line, it is a pretty cool looking thing to have, and yeah, maybe it's worth picking up if you are someone that really loves Batman Returns. That movie still gives me creeps, mainly because of the Penguin. So I don't sleep well at night when I rewatch that movie, because the Penguin was just, I don't know what it is, but Tim Burton just knew how to make characters like scary. Penguin is just a little bit different in that movie. Not like the usual kind of interpretation that we see in the comics and also in the animations. This Penguin is something unique. Alright, let me move on to the next subject, which is the announcements. So, yesterday, there were these rumors, which could have been AI fakes, of course, because there was no confirmation at the time that these were real listings of the first wave of McFarlane Vault. So if you don't know what this McFarlane Vault is, because you don't follow this line, but you are still curious, basically what McFarlane is doing right now is that they are going to reissue figures that once were either sold out, that had a high demand for, or figures that were just really hard to get for people because they were like exclusives of some kind, and they're just, reissuing them once more to give people chances. And the photos featured the first wave, which had the collector edition Wonder Woman figure, which is very expensive in the aftermarket right now. I think it's around like $200 something. I could be wrong, but I know it's really high up there in terms of its price. I have this Wonder Woman. I was able to pre-order it back when it came out. And they are going to reissue her as part of this first wave of the whole McFarlane Vault Edition thing, whatever the name of this line is called. So, this was confirmed today because they actually made an official post showing that she is going to be the first figure of this wave. Now, for the second figure that they also revealed, which was in the rumors yesterday, it is the Action Comics #1 Superman figure. This was released originally as the collector edition Superman figure for Wave 1 with Alan Scott Green Lantern, and who was the other character in that wave? Oh, I think the first, Abyss, right? Abyss was Wave 1, right? Was his name Abyss? I think his name was Abyss. I am forgetting his name already. He's a comic character that exists, I believe, in the Batman comics. Yeah, so he was released in Wave 1. And I don't know why they're re-releasing him. I don't think a lot of people like that figure because it was not really the best execution for the Action Comics #1 Superman, in my opinion. I feel like if they were going to bring this design back, they should have done something better where they could have easily, reused the new Superman mold, which has a better scale for Superman and just print that design onto the chest, and maybe, make the head sculpt, a little bit different, but also accurate to the comic source material. They could have done some tweaks to it and then release it as a whole brand new Superman figure instead of just, choosing to go with this for the Vault release. Because I did see some comments, and it was really funny because a lot of people were like, "Wait a minute, who's demanding for this one to come back?" It's like, yeah, I don't remember anyone wanting to fucking. Oh, I mean, not to curse. I don't remember anyone wanting this figure to like be reissued because it wasn't that great of a Superman figure, honestly, in terms of like that whole capturing the classic sort of, or not the classic, but like more like first appearance look. I think that's what they were trying to do. And again, the first appearance look isn't a bad thing to have in figure form, but I feel like the execution could have been a lot better. So, this reissue is just kind of just whatever. Like, I'm skipping on it because I didn't even buy it originally because I just did not like the fact that it's reusing the infected Superman body buck, and it has that plastic cape and all that stuff. So it's not good. So that's the second one. Now, I don't know if they posted any more images. Actually, you know what? This is the first time we're doing this. I'm going to pause this fight. I'm going to check their social media right now because they only posted 2 things today. Okay, there's another post 13 minutes ago. So, for the other figure in this first batch of Vault releases, it is the Dark Knight Christian Bale Batman with the clothwire cape. Now, this one was originally released as a Platinum Chase version, and I don't remember what wave it was, like a Platinum Chase 2. But all I know... Oh, the game is lagging. All I know is that this was a very sought-after Batman Platinum Chase, because at the time, there was no other Dark Knight version of him with a clothwire cape, because the previous one was the one that was released with the 6-pack, the movie Batman's, and it only had a regular cloth cape. It did not have a wire to it. And then, of course, the most recent iteration of this Batman was released with the Batpod, which was a Target exclusive that I did not buy because it was very expensive. It was $70. No, $80, I think. Actually, no, 70. I think it was around. I forgot. It was around like a really high price point. I skipped on it. So, this particular Vault reissue, I am debating if I want it or not because I already have the Batman Begins version of the Christian Bale Batman with the clothwire cape, and I know his suit changes in the second movie. It does look cooler in the second one, but I still like the way the suit looks in the first movie, which, honestly, it still fits in the Batmobile, the Tumbler, right? So, if I really am in need of this version of the suit with the clothwire, I may pre-order this one. I haven't decided if I want to yet. But, yeah, so this is the third figure that was also rumored yesterday. And now it's been confirmed that it is actually happening. So, that is interesting. Now, I already have the Dark Knight version of this suit because of the 6-pack movie thing that they released. And even though it doesn't have a clothwire cape, I mean, it still gets the job done. You can still fit them in the tumbler anyways. So I'm in that sort of boat where I'm like, man, do I need another one? And I don't know how much these figures are going to retail for because they're not collector editions. The packaging for them are not in the collector edition style boxes. They are basically in the regular DC Multiverse boxes, but they just have like this Vault edition sort of, Oh no, I screwed this up. That's okay. You know what? It is what it is. We had a good run. Yeah. I don't know how much they're going to charge for these. I have a feeling, and this is just me being, more realistic. I have this weird suspicion that they're going to charge more for these reissues, excuse me. Mainly because they have that excuse to just like upcharge people and be like, hey, you don't want to spend this amount of money in the aftermarket for these, right? Because they're really expensive. Like the Wonder Woman is like around like 150 to 200 something, right? You don't want to drop that kind of money. But we're selling it to you for $34.99, even though it's not worth $34.99 because there are a few things that are missing in this set with this figure. But because they're re-releasing it and you're getting it for less than how much the aftermarket price is, you are pretty much kind of forced to pay whatever this retail price is for these figures, especially if you've been wanting a chance at this Wonder Woman figure again, because when it first came out, it sold out so quickly, and it was just very hard to get a copy of, even at the retail stores. So this sort of like thing they're pulling here is basically FOMO, fear of missing out, once more. And I have this weird suspicion that these things are not going to retail for like the regular current DC Multiverse prices for these solo figures, which are $26.99. I have a feeling these things are going to be more than $26.99. Now, that's just me assuming that right now, but we're finding out that information because apparently the first wave, which I think there's probably one more figure that they haven't announced yet, I think these will all go up. What was the date that they said? May 8th. There we go. So they're all going up on pre-order on the 8th of May, which is the same date that this game is shutting down. And I honestly am very curious how much they're going to charge for these. I'm not going to buy any of them per se. I don't know. Maybe the Batman, but hopefully it's not expensive. Well, it's going to be expensive anyways, but hopefully not like egregious. Just being optimistic here, but in reality, they're probably going to charge way more than the regular prices, probably. I guess we'll see. Alright, let's read this dialogue. Dark Energon again. Hardly a new tactic. Not quite. They are using a space bridge to access an ancient dark realm. This Bumblebee is a Decepticon loyalist. Oh, it is the Shattered storyline thing. Okay. Confirm. The only Autobot sources registering from him are on his knuckles. A bit of sparring practice, but don't worry, I have plenty of fight left in me for all of you. This is your plan? Break our spirit by forcing us to destroy reflections of those under my command? Do not pretend to be a leader, Prime. You are a butcher. You have torn apart many a bot whom you deemed unworthy. So understand that when I snuff the sparks of Prime, I do it to save all Decepticon kind. I understand that you will try. Okay. I think my suspicion was correct. Oh, wait, what the heck? Why is the boss Sound Blaster? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Oh, he has the range shock thing. Oh, okay, well, that shouldn't be too bad. Alright, let's end this boss fight with Megatronus and then defeat this freaking Sound Blaster and call it a day with today's episode. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the little topic that I was rambling on for today's episode, even if maybe it's not something you're interested in. But again, that's what I do in these episodes. I like to just talk about random stuff that has nothing to do with what's going on in the game. Sometimes. But there's sometimes I will focus on what's happening in the game. But so far, the story quest for this chapter has been interesting because they are referring to the Spotlight missions that I once played a long time ago. So, there it is. We beated the boss for Mission 3. And now, this will basically wrap up the first part of Chapter 4. And I hope all of you enjoyed today's episode. I had fun recording this, and with that said, there are 2 more episodes coming out soon in the future. These will be the final 2 that I'm going to record because, again, there's not enough time for me to finish Act 5 and 6. There is no way. I actually looked ahead to see like what I'm dealing with. There are 4 chapters per act, just like all the other acts that I played through. So it is unfortunate that I can't finish the last remaining parts of the story. I looked back to the original video I recorded for the first episode and it said my goal is to finish the story. Man, I feel like I let all of you down with the series, but you know, I didn't expect the game to shut down this year. So it is what it is. And all right, that is going to be it for today's episode. And yeah, if you found today's video enjoyable, give it a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel for more Transformers Forza Fight content, whether it's the stuff that I already have up on the channel or future content that I already have scheduled and they're just going to go out slowly, you can do so. It would be much appreciated. Now, if you also want to check out my action figure review stuff and all that on the other end of the content that I make on this channel, you can do so as well if you want to. And with that said, take care, and I will see you in the next video.